So, welcome back. If you enjoyed part 1 to our celebration of 50 years of Bangladesh, then you are absolutely going to love part 2. Yes, because we have a woman. No, I'm joking. It's not about feminism or anything like that. But obviously, it does make it easier for people like me when there's another woman, an inspirational woman, a woman that's achieved so much. You know, we were talking about achievements of the Bangladeshi community. Yes, they have achieved phenomenally within the curry industry, but there are other achievements too. So my next guest that I'm going to introduce you to, and she's going to help me learn a bit more about the Bangladeshi culture, a bit more about the cuisine, a bit more about the lifestyle, is the super talented, super amazing solicitor. Has done a phenomenal work within the Bradford community with families specifically. But she is the A to Z, I would say, of anything to do with Bangladeshi heritage and Bangladeshi culture. So let's now meet Saeeda Shanaz Ahmed. Hi, Shanaz.
Hello.
Hi. No, don't you, Shanaz? Yeah, that's how everybody knows you. I should really say, because you're quite a famous person within the local.
I'm not a famous person at all. No.
That's just you being humble. I'm sure you are.
No, but thank you for having me on the show.
No, thank you.
This important time, 50 years of independence, is unbelievable.
It is. Happy 50 years of Bangladesh independence, firstly to you. But I'm super excited because I'm just looking at that table that you just brought and presented with, and you know, that is just calling me out. And I think I remember saying to you off the camera, don't blame me if this interview is rushed, because
Oh, but I hope you do enjoy it, and there's a fair selection there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that the Bangladeshi culture is always known for is the hospitality. Naturally, most of the community are in the hospitality industry. And you know, they've been serving up curries for much longer than the Indian curry houses that came along. So tell us a little bit about the kind of cuisines that you have at home with your family. Is it very traditional Bangladeshi food, or do you have a variety?
It's a mixture, but if we have, say, one day of pizza, pasta, pasta bakes, that's lasagna, we have to have 2 days of Bengali food, definitely. Really? It's in our DNA. I think if I don't have rice at least twice a week, then we have withdrawal symptoms. But it's been, brought up in a Bangladeshi household, and very much food is the focus, isn't it? Whenever family are around, and I was lucky, I was brought up in the Manningham area, so where I lived, the opposite street to me, my chacha, my younger uncle lived, and then the street behind, my older uncle lived, and they rescued us whenever children, we always got in trouble. We'd always hide out at the uncle's houses, and it was always food time. We'd always stay until the food's served, and they wouldn't let us go.
We all need an uncle like that.
So it's brilliant growing up with food, and that time it was traditional Bangladeshi cooking. Very fond memories.
What is traditional Bangladeshi cooking then? Tell us a little bit more about the...
I would say we have more vegetables and more fish, definitely. So there's freshwater fish. There's traditional fish that's caught in Bangladesh and other parts of the world, but we also now extend to using fish from here. So trout, sea bass, sea bream, those sort of fish, mackerel. We'll turn any fish into a curry. And when I say curry, it's not necessarily highly spiced. It can be steamed, but then with mustard oil and onions and chilies. So it's quite delicate. So you can have delicate and then really other dishes that are highly spiced. There's such a variety. So I would say fish and vegetables more. Yes.
And what kind of fish do you prefer consuming? What's your favourite?
Oh, there's rohu. It's spelled R-O-H-U. Roe match. And then there's mirka or mirkal. Now I'm going to always say 2 names because I come from the Sylhet district in Bangladesh, northern. So whereas my husband's also Sylheti, his parents are from Sylhet. They moved to Dhaka, the capital. So it's such a small country, but there's such variation in the dishes. There's a vegetable called shatkara. It's like a bitter lemon, delicious. And that dish is Sylhet is known for. So I would say those sort of dishes we cook with certain vegetables and fish.
The shatkara, I have heard of that quite a lot, and you can get a chicken version.
You can put it into anything. You can put it with chicken, red meats, with lamb, and chicken. Yeah, fish. You can add it to lots of dishes. Such a variety. But yeah, very fond. And we go to Bangladesh so frequently every year. It's only because of COVID that I've missed. I think last time was 2018, and then 2019 my grandchildren were born. So I was
Oh
here.
wow, grandchildren!
My daddy and a nanny are so happy. So and the children eat rice. So the grandchildren are nearly 2 years old. My granddaughter Hannah and my grandson Sammy. He's 16 months, and they eat fish and rice. So even just maybe slightly less spice, but they'll have it. They might go like that, you know, it's spicy and hot, but they'll still have it. They'll come back for more. So already they're into Bangladeshi.
Speaking of spices, remember when we were chatting earlier off camera, I was telling you, because obviously my sister-in-law, she's a Sylheti background, and she's introduced me to Naga chilies, and she has things really spicy. And you were saying, well, she must love you then if she's giving you that. Is that quite...
It is, and it's such a special dish. Naga is really unique and to a lot of Bangladeshi dishes. And if she's treating you that, then a lot of respect. She does love you, and she thinks that you're up for a hot dish because it can be very hot.
Yes, she can have it very spicy. I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to that, because Naga is supposed to be the highest, hottest
type of chili. But it's a fragrance as well. So I remember once when I was in Bangladesh, my naughty brother-in-law, he got the Naga and he didn't break it up. All he did was touch some of my rice and put it back before I could see. And when I was having it, I could feel my lips burning and everything, and he was just joking. And then my mother-in-law told him off and said, "What are you doing too, Shanaz?" But it's fragrant as well. So it's fragrant and hot. You know, seismic hot, really, But delicious.
Amazing. Speaking of delicious, I'm gonna let you talk me through this amazing table. This amazing spread, courtesy you.
No.
Getting to witness today. So let's have a look at all the dishes.
Well, when we go to Bangladesh, the first thing we do within, I'd say, 2 hours is go out straight away, and my poor mother and father-in-law, they'd have prepared dishes, but we would say we'd have that in the evening, and we'd go out on a rickshaw or just by car, and then go out to have food from outside from the vendors.
So you have loads of street food?
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's no point going there if you're not going to try that. And we try it on the first day, we have to. One of our favourite dishes is chutpati. And normally, I haven't got a tissue here, that we make a cone out of, I can make a cone out of a tissue, and then you'd have, you might want to try it's Bombay mix type thing, but it's got mustard oil, onions and chili, and that's something we regularly have from an outside vendor. So make the cone, and then you'd add this, so from a street vendor, you'd be then putting that within the cone and having that, munching on it outside. So that's really like Bombay mix, peanuts, the usual, but with the important ingredient is mustard oil. And that makes it really fiery. Yeah, it's mixed with mustard oil already there.
You guys are really advanced, because in India, they won't give you tissues, they put newspaper.
Oh, well, newspapers as well, yeah. Of course. We could have just got the Asian, we could have got that good advert as well.
So next time, in the future, Asian start a newspaper, chutpati. Read it while you eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like the equivalent of fish and chips, isn't it? At that time, yes, they're similar to that. Yeah, and it's recycling. I'd read it first.
Newspapers are so popular. You read it first, and then you recycle it.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, isn't it? That's the way to do it. So this is the chana chur with the mustard oil. So chutpati is a really popular dish. So when we go out, we'd have to have that. And actually, we have this, but we have it with fuska. There's an equivalent for the Gujarati, my Hindu Bangladeshi friends would have. The really light pastry that you make a hole in, and then you'd put that in. Pani puri, that's it, exactly. So we'd have that, and the trick is to have it all in one go. and
Wow,
then
so
you
similar
make.
to the Bangladesh
Yeah, I wish
one.
I'd brought that with me. But with this chickpea dish that has potato, boiled eggs, coriander, but you can add then to your taste.
Yeah.
The various other ingredients like hot chili, but the tamarind sauce is important, and that's really a tasty thing. And like I say, you make an event out of it by having the pani puri. You break a hole in it at the top, fill that in, and then just all in one go, and it's just really lovely. So that's outside a dish that you would have on the streets with your friends, in your family, particularly on a Friday, Bangladesh Friday, again because of it's the rest day for Muslims, and then also on the Saturday, the weekend, you'd have these sort of dishes outside.
And then you got your curry and rice, which is your normal.
Curry rice and normally fish. If I had more time today, I've been working, but no time to cook the fish. But I've got to say, my husband, bless him, because I was busy, he actually prepared these two dishes. Husband made the to Shukar Ahmed. He's got a man of many talents. He's going to be so embarrassed that I've mentioned his name now. I like embarrassing him. So we've got those two dishes, and then the sweet dishes. My favourite is, although we have yogurts in England and so many varieties, don't we? With fruit yogurts and so on. I would say there's nothing like the Bangladeshi mita doi. We call it doi. And doi mita, yogurt. Mita is sweet. You can call it mishti doi or mita doi. And again, because of the different districts, one place you'd say mitai, and then the other place you'd say mishti doi. And the wonderful thing is when I go to Bangladesh is every district has its own type of doi. And my favourite, change. I think it's got to do with probably the milk, and depending on the grass and which area they're being brought up on, what type of grass and so on. But I like Bugura doi. And I became such an expert. Everyone's amazed that this lass from Yorkshire, England, would go to Bangladesh, and without looking at the packet, if someone served it to me in a dish, I would know which one, which district. I've lost it now because I haven't recently been, but I can pick it up immediately. So that's the doi.
So doi means yogurt
yes,
in Bangladesh,
yes.
and this is sweet yogurt.
This is sweet yogurt, so it's mita doi or mishti doi. Again, depending on the district from Bangladesh, so mita or mishti, and it's just sweet yogurt. And when I say just, my God, there's so many variations from one district to another. So I'm from the Sylhet district, and then then there's Dhaka, so many varieties. But my favourite is Bogura doi, and that's again from that district. And we go to Bangladesh every year, except for the COVID period. With my kids, without my kids, on my own, and that's, we just go yearly. And I've become an expert on the doi, so I don't need to see the packets. If it's on a plate, dessert plate, I can taste it and know which one it is, which district or which shop even. Amazing. So that's how, and it's lovely. And what's distinctive about the yogurt? There are yogurts in England, everywhere around the world. This one particularly, it's thick, creamy, and it's got a hard skin, and that skin is about, I'd say, a few millimeters deep, but that is taste in itself. And then you have the softer yogurt underneath. And I'm sorry, I'm just my mouth's watering now. Look there, but that top bit, and also it's made traditionally in a clay pot. So then you get the flavour from the clay pot as it's being formed. So you can see there, it's just you can have it on its own in Bangladesh after a meal. It would be served on its own, or you'd have it with the rice, so it becomes the dessert there. But yes, so just love the.
I thought it was custard at first.
Right. No, I know, because of the colour and texture. It is yogurt. And it's so good to have after an end of a meal, and it's good settling for the stomach. So there's that side of things. I'll pretend to have it for health reasons. And then I've got chom chom there, which is another dish that Bangladesh is famous for, and it's just lovely. Again, rich, sickly sweets. I don't know if you cut into one, but they're quite moist, not too dry. But that's something unique to Bangladesh. I'm sure other countries have variations of it. And then we've got the Rasgulla and the jalebi. Again, in jalebi in Bangladesh, it would again, depend on the type of ghee that's being used, and the ghee type is to die for.
Because I've
But
seen ones
yeah,
in London that are a lot darker.
yeah,
What my
dark.
sister-in-law brings
Yes,
home is
yeah.
a
They're
lot
not
more
orange.
rounded
Yes, yeah, and
and a lot
thicker
thicker,
sometimes. Yeah,
and
um,
darker
yeah.
than that
Than
colour.
that, and also full of juice as well,
Totally
syrup and
full of syrup,
everything. Yeah,
yes.
full of syrup. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I think when we in Bangladesh or the South Asian countries, when we have desserts, they are truly sweet. Um, but yeah, we don't have them regularly, do we?
So you go from one extreme, so from the
Yeah,
naga,
yeah,
very, very,
very
very
hot.
spicy, very
Yes,
hot, to
to
very, very
very
sweet.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's so many differences in the districts. I remember once going to Chittagong, and they had a speciality of again, like chom chom type sweets. So yeah, people are just proud and will present that, knowing that you've come from another district. Yeah, so
Amazing.
oh, just happy memories. I can't wait to go back to
Amazing
Bangladesh
memories, and I
after.
just can't wait to tuck
Yeah,
in after the
oh,
continuing
yes,
dishes, obviously,
definitely.
and
Oh,
enjoy some of those.
yes.
But before we do, I want to talk a little bit more
Mm,
about the other lifestyle. I mean, I've just
yeah.
been admiring you for ages. You've got the Bangladeshi colours
Oh, yeah,
on
the
today,
sari.
green and red, haven't you?
Green and red,
And
yes,
such a
with the flag.
beautiful sari on.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a modest sari. It's not an expensive sari as
yeah,
such, but it is green and red because
yeah.
our flag is green and with the red.
But the
Sunshine,
texture,
yeah.
is it a silk sari that you're
This
wearing
is a
today?
silk and georgette mix
Ah,
type of
okay.
sari, so
Yeah,
nice and light to wear.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really
Yeah.
representing the
And what I've
flag. I thought,
noticed
yeah.
about is a lot of Bangladeshi women, they wear the sari, but then they
Mm.
have a nice shawl draped
Yes,
alongside it as
yeah,
well.
the shawl can
Yeah.
hide so many things. But also it doubles up. So if you're going outside and it's a bit cold, chilly, you
Yeah.
wrap it around.
Yeah.
But it can be just, yeah, on one side of the
Yeah. Because it's
shoulder.
not very practical
Yeah.
sometimes in England wearing a sari because it's
No,
really cold. So
yes.
the
But
shawl
this just
actually,
wraps round
yeah,
and it's,
yeah,
it's so versatile.
yeah.
But tend to, I did have a matching one to this, but couldn't find it. So I've had to get
It looks
this from another
perfect. It
outfit.
looks really nice.
But I like wearing the sari. I think I've been brought up, I'm married at 16. Before
Yeah.
16, never wore a sari.
Yeah.
And when I got married at 16 for the wedding, I think it's my first sari I wore was my wedding sari.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a shock because it's quite a heavy sari, so I went
Mm.
straight in at the deep end. But I just love wearing them when it's
Yeah.
an occasion.
Yeah.
And my kids are similar, my daughter, my
Yeah.
nieces, and my son will wear the Punjabi,
Yeah.
and we get the Punjabis from Bangladesh. So anybody comes from Bangladesh, when they ask what gift, we'll
Yeah.
always say, oh, can you go to certain shops?
Yeah.
And there's Arong in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, so and in Sylhet.
Yeah.
We'd always ask for items from
I think
there.
that, so
Yeah.
one of the famous designers, Arong, that's
Yeah,
one of
Arong is
the,
one of the shops.
yeah, shops,
Yeah,
okay.
and there's very
Yeah.
brands. There's a black and white shop
Yeah.
that's there, especially just black and white products. And
Really?
yes,
Oh, wow.
because there's a market for that, but also it ties in with 21st of February. Ekushey February is International Language Day all around the world. So Bangladesh fought for recognition of its language
Yes, it
in
did.
Bangladesh, and it was pioneering in that sense. So then, because of Bangladesh's struggle to keep its language, and that's what the independence was about also, 1971. Yes, 21st of February, Bangladesh was quite the instigating factor in having that day nationally for all countries. And that's black and white. You wear black and white on there because a lot of people died in that struggle. A lot of martyrs who gave their lives in that struggle. So white is about death, and you wear that out of respect at a funeral. So it's black and white. So shops like that. So anytime anybody comes from Bangladesh, get something from the black and white shop, and then Arong, certain colours, red and green, for occasions. Yeah, for the 50th anniversary coming up, we'll be wearing red and green.
So obviously, we're talking about women's attire saris, and we see women wearing it frequently at weddings, parties, and even the new generation tend to enjoy wearing them. But when it comes to men's dressing, the lungi.
The lungi, oh yes, that's a distinctive
Talk
thing.
about that.
And it is distinctive.
David Beckham made it famous.
Because they call it, and it was quite fashionable how he did that.
Bangladeshi men making it famous and wearing
Oh,
it.
definitely. That's what we need more,
We need it.
But men will easily relax. My husband, he was born in Bangladesh, so he came over when he was 18, so he was used to the lungi. But I've got to say, my son, not so much. He likes his pajamas when he's at home relaxing and his joggers. But my son-in-law, he likes wearing the lungi. I was quite proud of it, and I think good on him. You know, it's quite relaxing, and it's like it's a joined up long piece of material, and then you pleat it, so like a sari is pleated. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and really easy, really comfortable. And I love it, and I like it. You know that.
Is there a fashion for them in Bangladesh? So, like, you know, you can get saris in so many different colours.
Yeah.
So many different fabrics. Do they do that there? Or
They have different qualities. They have qualities of cotton,
Mm.
and the type of check pattern. So, you know, tartany type. But traditionally, they're all like tartan looking. So you have difference in cotton, definitely. So you have quite expensive ones. You have then practical ones. I don't know about particular brands, but there will be. Again, Arong and shops, the bigger department stores will have their distinctive longis. And that's something regularly we get from Bangladesh. Because it's just so practical and helpful. And I've got to say, longi is the Bangladeshi identity. My father, when he came to this country, I remember him not knowing who to approach because he's a Bangladeshi and a lot of people that he worked with and so on were Pakistani. And some people, he didn't know who to get on with. But whenever he saw someone wearing a lungi, he knew straight away that person was Bangladeshi and he could trust them and talk to them. At that time of independence. Of course, it's not like that now at all. And I want to make it clear, it's not against Pakistani people. It's about the government at that time. But he always remembers knowing who to approach because they were longi, because otherwise one Pakistani and a Bangladeshi person would look the same. So at that time it's difficult relationships, but now totally nothing after independence. That time it's difficult.
I suppose I think when India split as a whole, anyway, it was difficult for everybody.
It was definitely.
But I think what's amazing about people who live here is none of that politics,
no,
spills
not
through.
not at all.
We all get
not
together,
at all.
like, a completely different background to you. And
And we're
going
to
talking
easily
and
just
we'll be sharing this to a huge, diverse audience who are going to love this, and hopefully everyone's going to join in celebrating 50 years of Bangladesh.
Yes, for my Pakistani friends, Indian friends, English, Norwegian, people from Qatar. We've got all sorts of messages already. People are excited about it.
Amazing.
So it's really nice that they've really got on board, and I'm getting messages saying, "Oh, Shanaz, exciting 50 years."
Wonderful.
So it was a lovely time.
But I want you to help me out with something now.
Okay.
So, as you know, my nieces and nephew, they're of select heritage.
Oh, right. Wow.
Because of my sister-in-law.
Yes.
But I've never been able to properly pick up the language. Apart from Balasoni.
Yes.
And
Balasoni,
a couple of other things, but I won't say it because I say it wrong. I know I do.
Yeah.
I want you to teach me so I can go back and impress them.
Yeah.
So what are the common things? So how do I say, I'm hungry, I want to eat?
Oh, so Sileti would be Amar buk lagse. Amar, me. So Amar buk lagse. Kita khaitam. Kita khaitam. Like KH sound. Khaitam. Kita khaitam. Kita khaimu. Khaimu. Shudda Bangla is easier and they'll understand that maybe. Ki kabo. Yeah, because they're Sileti. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The food bit. Oh, yeah, definitely. Priorities, definitely. Get the priorities right.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Now we got that bit out of the way. How do you say, how are you?
Kemunaso, that's the Shuddha Bangla. And they say Balasuni, how are you? How are you? Are you well? Balasuni.
Balasuni, so I know that.
Balasuni, you said that, but Shuddha Bangla Kemunaso, Sileti, Kilaso, Balasuni, yeah. And then you'd respond, Ami Balasi. Ami Balasi. Excellent. Yeah. Oh my God, I give you a passport now with the Bangladeshi passport.
I'm coming. You're definitely going to be taking me there one day. So in terms of other greetings, so we're living in times of COVID. So if we do a COVID messaging in Bangladesh, so the first one is wash your hands. How do we say wash your hands in Sileti?
Ad-duiba. Ad-duiba. Hat. Like hat is hands. Yeah. It's just a variation, isn't it? Everything. So at-duiba, but at-doa joruri. It's really important to joruri. Yeah. It's important to wash your hands.
It is a bit similar.
It is. Oh,
Joruri is Urdu.
Yes.
Joruri,
Oh, because there's a reason. So Shuddha Bangla. the actual language for the whole country is distinctive to Sylhet. Sylhet, we have the Urdu influences. So the word, I'll give an example, always. The Bangla is Shob Shomoy, but Sylhet, which is part of Bangladesh, is Hamesha. Hamesha. Hamesha isn't it Urdu or Hindi for always?
Always,
Hamesha. But the Shuddha Bangla is Shob Shomoy. So it's quite different. Always, Shob Shomoy. Hamesha. Shob Shomoy. But that's a Shuddha Bangla. So Sylheti has a lot of influences, and because we create the boundaries, don't we, of a country?
Yes,
so we, but Sylhet, we have influences from Assam, from the neighbouring countries, and Urdu. There's lots of other words as well. I was thinking.
So washing our hands, and then keeping distance.
Ektu dur tahba. Ektu dur tahba. Tahba. That again, Sylheti. It's not Shuddha Bangla. Dure Taken would be the Shuddha Bangla. So it's quite different. I don't know if it's similar to Urdu and Punjabi, where the similar words, but they're distant. Dur. So again, that's a Sylheti version. A lot of the words, are there. Ektu dur tahba. Addu ba, you talked about the hands washing. Ektu dur and
wearing
a mask. Oh, good. I think I'd use more English. A mask, finba.
Mask.
Finba, Finba, the Sylheti version.
Mask,
Finba. But the Shuddha Bangla is Mas Porbin.
Mas Porbin.
So
it's quite very different, isn't it?
I'm growing up. Can you imagine how confusing it's for me then? I'm a Yorkshire lass in England, in Bradford, and then learning.
So you had to learn English.
Yes.
You had to learn Yorkshire English.
Yorkshire English, of course. Eat mates.
Exactly. Then
Shuddha Bangla and Sylheti, but it would be Sylheti is the first, because my parents were speaking Sylheti. They'd always naturally.
That's what you speak at home.
And we were growing up, we'd start a sentence in Sylheti, end off in English, that sort of thing, would be interchangeable. Shuddha Bangla, because my husband was from the capital in Bangladesh, he came over, and his family is Sylheti in heritage, but then moved to Dhaka. It's prosperous and for careers. So then I got to practice my Shuddha Bangla when I travelled to Bangladesh, so I can speak both languages because they are very distinct, and so it can be confusing. So, but Sylheti, I think with your nieces and nephews, if you'll impress them if you can say something like, what do you study at school? Skulo kita forso.
Skulo kita forso.
Forso. At school, what did you study?
Kita forso.
Skulo kita forso. And they'll be going, oh my God, Auntie, respond in English. But you can impress them. The fufu. Oh, that's lovely. So you can impress them. I'll give you some more pointers later on.
Perfect.
I
love you already.
Thank you.
That's excellent. The other thing I just wanted to ask was, do you think that there was a big story about the Bangladesh Sylheti language disappearing?
Yes.
And people forgetting it. Do you think there's a danger of that? Or?
There isn't unless we consciously speak it at home. It's got to be like that. I learnt Bangla because my parents spoke it, but then with my children, I deliberately, when they were younger, they were very fluent. As they got older, they lost it. They were communicating more in English. But when they were younger, they kept it up because they spoke to their dada, dadi, nana, nani. So we had the older relatives who would only speak that. Whereas now for my grandchildren, I can speak in English. But consciously, when I'm with Hannah, when I'm with Sammy, I'll say something like, "Oh, iskita haiso. What did you eat today?"
I know
haiso. Of course, food. I'm similar to you. As a to food, definitely. So we're trying because I think it's another skill. And when young children are young, they're like sponges. They really absorb. I could speak Urdu when I was younger because my school friends, my friends in the local area spoke Urdu, but I then lost that because they started speaking English and I did. So when it came to middle school, I lost that. But when I was younger, my mother always used to say you were fluent in Urdu or Punjabi as well, both. But then lost that, unfortunately. So it is important to keep hold of the language because I always say that if you, languages are important, but also the more stronger you are in your heritage, if you're proud of your heritage, you're then proud as a British person as well, because you've got strong roots.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of my Bangladeshi heritage, but equally very fiercely proud of being British.
Yeah.
So I'm not lost really. So I think people who don't know about the heritage, about dress, the way you speak, the food, are then lost sometimes. They don't know where they fit in. Whereas because my children, my parents and my husband, because we go back to Bangladesh so regularly, because we instill in them the need to know about the culture, the music, the poetry. Bangladesh is famous for poetry.
Yeah.
And every person is a poet. They'll just sit down and write poetry. My husband writes poetry and he recites it very passionately. Yeah, Tagore. Yeah, yeah.
He did the national anthem for both Bangladesh
Yes,
and India.
and India as well. So it's just excellent. Tagore or Thakur. Because, T-A-K, it's an actual, Bangladeshis will say Thakur,
Right.
T-A-K-U-R.
Yeah.
I didn't know until 2 years ago that was the case.
Well, for knowledge.
Yeah, whereas no, not at all. But I picked up from my husband who's from Bangladesh, and we both complimented each other. The English side and he's the Bangladeshi side is wonderful. And then we've tried to instill that into the children as well. But poetry is a big thing for Bangladeshi people and literature. And they could, like, if you ask me who's my favourite poet in England, I'd struggle. I mean, I know a few, but in Bangladesh, people just recite, and they'll recite the poetry, not only name them. So very intellectually rich in heritage. And that's why when Bangladesh and Pakistan, when Pakistan broke, was separated, although we're all Muslims together, we have that common identity. But everything, the language, the songs, the dress, was all with Bengal. Well, it's Bengal. We had more in common with West Bengal. It was all Bengal that split, and only because of religious lines. But everything except for the religion, we were Bengalis. We were with West Bengal, and the language and poetry and everything. So, and that's why people struggled and then went for independence, because yes, we're all Muslims together, but the identity was so different. So positive. I think we need to keep hold of that.
I think it's important. I think the fact that identity lives on.
It does.
Keep that going. But also, I feel that today that unity is coming back as well. That the relationships are getting cemented. And repaired.
Oh yes.
And that's a good thing.
Oh, definitely.
And that's why
very
it's so
quickly.
important to celebrate.
Very quickly. You're talking about independence from Pakistan, you mean? Gosh, my friends, teachers, people, Pakistani, my God, they would been ringing me, emailing, WhatsApping, saying, it's coming up to 50th, are you doing anything? I said, yeah, we are, we're doing this. So, like I say, it's always the governments that created the people, and the people are guided by the government. So if the government is positive, people are positive. Definitely we're all good as a community together, definitely in Bradford.
And that is one of the best things to hear during a celebration. So once again, thank you so much for being with us. And
thank you.
50 years of
Yes,
Bangladesh.
thank you.
You truly enjoy your celebration despite COVID. I think that Zoom event is going to be phenomenal.
On the 28th, people can join us by Zoom or Facebook, and it's only an hour long, and it'll have we're incorporating children poetry or having a chat show style like this. A young person and an older person chatting,
and that generation
and there's songs by children, and we've got adults as well. But it's a nice thing to. I would encourage everybody to join in, to log on at that time. I think 7 p.m. on the 28th.
Brilliant. We'll make sure that all our readers know about it.
The other thing we're missing is food, unfortunately, because it's online. If it wasn't, but it's online.
You're just reminding me about that table now.
Food.
So, guys, bye for now.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you very much.